It's Monday, the 24th of October. Noswaith a croeso unwaith eto wychiva agus felcha arish. Welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom. Let's get straight on with the news.
Thanks, Tom, and we begin with more information regarding the leadership election, and former Chancellor Rishi Sunak is running to replace former Prime Minister Liz Truss as Conservative Party leader and new Prime Minister.
Sources from Mr Sunak's campaign have told ITV News that he has gained the 100 nominations from Tory MPs needed to enter a ballot for Conservative Party members.
Leader of the House of Commons, Penny Mordaunt, was the first to announce her bid to take over from Liz Truss as Prime Minister, and former Prime Minister Boris Johnson is also expected to join the race.
Bemused holidaymakers have found themselves joining Boris Johnson on his flight home to see if he can make a cessation or return to number 10 Downing Street. The former Prime Minister boarded a flight from the Dominican Republic last night, where he had been on a break with his wife Carrie and two children Wilfred and Romy.
Leadership candidates will need support from 100 MPs to secure their spot on the ballot as Tory officials attempt to speed up the selection process.
Members of the party's ruling 1922 committee alongside party chairman Jake Berry met on Thursday to decide the rules for the leadership contest, which will see a new Prime Minister elected sometime this week.
Speaking just hours after Truss announced she was quitting as Prime Minister, 1922 committee chairman Graham Brady confirmed Tory hopefuls would need 100 backers to get onto the ballot paper, with a cut-off at 2 p.m. today.
Two other news now, and a strike by Arriva Bus drivers due to take place over the half-term school holidays in Kent has been suspended, the Unite Union has said.
About 600 drivers were due to begin 5 days of strike action from today. The strike has been suspended while workers are balloted on a new pay offer from Arriva, the union has said.
Janet Nobbs, Unite's regional officer, said following an improved offer from Arriva, the strikes which were scheduled to affect Kent throughout the half-term holidays have been called off. If the latest offer is rejected, the strike action scheduled for Friday the 28th of October will go ahead, according to a spokesman.
The dispute has involved drivers at Arriva's depots in Gillingham, Gravesend, Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells.
Dozens of courts across England and Wales will be affected by staff launching a strike in a dispute over a controversial case management system. The Public and Commercial Services Union said its members, working as legal advisors and court associates, will stage a 9-day walkout starting on Saturday.
Initially, 55 courts were to be affected, but after strike action was postponed following the late Queen's death, staff in 13 more courts voted to take part too.
The PCS says there will be picket lines outside Manchester Magistrates Court as well as Peterborough and Luton.
Moving on from the strikes now, and about 4,000 UK victims of the infected blood scandal are to receive interim compensation payments of £100,000 by the end of this month.
It is being paid to those whose health is failing after developing blood-borne viruses like hepatitis and HIV. It is also being paid to partners of people who have died.
Conor McIlrath from Larne in County Antrim, who is among the 100 or so victims affected in Northern Ireland, said it was very much welcomed.
A 10-year-old girl from Inverness has become one of the youngest people to conquer all 282 moonrows in Scotland. Quinn Young began the challenge with her dad Ian when she was just 4 years old. She climbed Ben Nevis shortly before turning 5.
The moonrows are Scottish peaks of more than 3,000 feet or 914 metres. Quinn told BBC Scotland, "I feel proud of myself but also a little upset because the adventure with my dad kind of finished."
The phenomenon known as Munro bagging was inspired by Sir Hugh Munro. Munro, whose family was Scottish landowners, was born in London in 1856 and brought up at Linturdis near Kirriemuir in Angus.
The deaths of nearly 100 children in Indonesia have prompted the country to suspend sales of all syrup and liquid medication. It comes just weeks after a cough syrup in the Gambia was linked to the deaths of nearly 70 children.
Indonesia said some syrup medicine was found to contain ingredients linked to acute kidney injuries, which have killed 99 young children this year. It is not clear, however, if the medicine were imported or locally produced.
On Thursday, Indonesian health officials said they had reported around 200 cases of acute kidney injuries in children, most of whom are aged under 5.
France, Germany and the UK are calling on the United Nations to send an investigatory team to Ukraine to examine the remnants of drones that Ukrainian authorities have discovered.
Russia is reportedly using these drones to bolster its war effort in the Russia-Ukraine war, as these drones are cheaper than missiles and yet can achieve the task of damaging Ukraine's critical infrastructure.
But Russia's Deputy United Nations Ambassador Dmitry Pyansky threatens the United Nations by saying that Moscow will reconsider its cooperation with the UN chief if the UN listens to these 3 European nations and sends an investigatory team into Ukraine to inspect remnants of armed drones that Ukraine claims are Iranian.
The government of Giorgia Meloni, Italy's first female prime minister and leader of a party with neo-fascist origins, has been sworn in.
Meloni, aged 45, and her cabinet took the oath before the Italian president, Sergio Mattarella, on Saturday.
Meloni will give a speech in Parliament over the next few days and must win a vote of confidence in both chambers, more of a formality given the solid majority, before her government can assume full powers.
And finally, Wales's First Minister Mark Drakeford erupted in anger in the Senedd a few days ago as he accused the Conservatives of making a mess of the UK's budget and reputation.
Mr. Drakeford raised his voice and pointed his finger in response to questions from leader of the Welsh Conservatives, Andrew R.T. Davies, about poor ambulance response times in Wales.
Addressing Mr. Davis, Mr. Drakeford said, "It is shocking, it is absolutely shocking to me that you think that you can turn up here this afternoon with the mess that your party has made to the budgets of this country, to the reputation of this country around the world, and claim some sort of moral high ground." A Tom and Ben News United Kingdom episode can't be complete without viewers' news, and we start off with Talking Tom and Friends channel. He reports that there have been explosive suicide drones rocking the Ukrainian capital Kiev, hitting residential buildings and more. Ezra Miller pleads not guilty to burglary charges and faces up to 26 years in prison. Mortal Kombat turns 30 years old. Wow. TikTok famous Emu Emmanuel is recovering from avian flu, a cold blast to bring record-breaking temperatures to a large part of the United States this week, and Helen, the world's second oldest gorilla, has died at the age of 64. To your weather now, and it looks very unsettled tonight, with blustery rain for most, but generally drier and brighter for the east.
Tomorrow will be more settled with variable clouds, sunny spells and a few lighter showers, most likely in the northwest. A cloudy start on Wednesday with a few spots of rain largely in the north, brighter in the afternoon, but turning breezier later as rain approaches the west.
And that brings the weather to a close, and indeed this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice evening, and please subscribe, and we shall see you on Halloween.
You can check us out over on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Tom and Ben News for UK. Use the link in the description or use the Facebook app, click the like and follow buttons.